Thank you. Your existence has been acknowledged, and you have been granted access every Thursday and Friday. You will be accompanying your guides, Krista and Brandy, along with a world-renowned guest. They will be exploring an intriguing tendril of what humans refer to as reality each week, as they strive to advance you further down the path to the truths of your physical earth and what lies on the other side. Remember to please keep your hands and feet in the vehicle at all times, and do not exit until the craft has come to a complete stop.
Oh my God. We are having issues here. Like,
yeah,
my computer is dying. Greg's trying to fix it. Yeah. Like, I just noticed. No, it's not doing snaggles.
Shiitake
Snaggle.
mushrooms. It's not doing shiitake mushrooms.
It's still not doing nothing. No. Is it not the plug-in not working? Oh, wait. You did. No, it's battery running low. Oh, guys.
I hope there's an outlet nearby.
We are having technical difficulties.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Hold on.
Well, as everybody can see, I'm still home. I didn't get to leave today as I wanted to. I had to work late.
Thank you.
I'm not happy about it, but I'm going to be leaving early in the morning. So there's going to be no shenanigans from me this evening.
Until
no
tomorrow.
shenanigans.
No shenanigans.
No shenanigans. Right?
And as everybody can see, I'm still deeply rooted in the forest.
In the deep woods in Michigan.
Yeah, with a little portal we're getting ready to open in back of me. Look at that.
So I got to tell you
about the moon,
guys.
Huh?
I got to tell you about our day. So we went to the Anderson house. Greg and Kathy, myself, went all around. Did the fun stuff. I did a quick live, from there. And oops, dog's barking. So we go to eat dinner tonight, and everybody knows, the key word with Greg is moist, right? Well, yeah, we all know this. So we're sitting at the restaurant tonight, and it was Kathy, myself, Greg, and Aaron. And on the table, let me show you what Greg has sitting up. So hold on. Instead of moist, this is his phone. Do you see that?
Oh, nice.
Wet?
It says wet.
Very nice. I like it.
Oh, no.
So, the server's going by, everybody's going by, seeing, and he did that on purpose so everybody could see. It says wet.
And then I changed it to dry.
Well, I guess that depends on what company you're keeping, I suppose.
Yeah, and then on top of it,
depends on the age.
And he says that people in Missouri don't know how to wash their hands, and this is a true story because Greg, show them your phone. Okay. They have
instructions on how to wash your hands in Missouri, complete with pictures.
With pictures.
Nice.
And as they should. So
that's where wet your hands, wash your hands, rinse your hands, and then dry your hands.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I think more states should have that listed in every bathroom.
Probably.
I cannot tell you how many times that I've used a public restroom in many states, and there has been at least one woman that does not wash their hands, or one woman that doesn't make their kids wash their hands. And
You know
I'm
what,
like,
though? That sign would not do any good. If they're not going to do it, they're not going to do it. You know what I mean? Because to me, it's like it's habit for us.
Well, some
But
people
for some
don't
people,
know.
it's not. What do you mean some people
Right.
don't?
They don't know how.
Oh, obviously.
Hence the sign.
There you go. You're right.
Mhm.
So anyway, just to let everybody know too. So I went live today from the Anderson house, and it's a cool place. There was a 3-day battle there. It was the battle of the hemp bales was fought there. And we are going to be doing doing an event there where you guys can come, and we're going to sell tickets to the public, and you guys will get to come. And we're going to do it back to back. So one night will be at the Anderson house, and the next night we'll be here at the museum, the Ray County Museum. They're only about 10 miles apart. And they've never allowed like a public event. Nobody said, like, kind of the way.
Yeah. There's not been a public event like that.
Yeah. Yep. So we'd be the first.
sounds good to me. I've never been, so yeah, I'd like to do it.
That
Yeah.
sounds really good.
So it'll be fun. And so we'll have more information coming up on that, though. We got to exactly get a date, but we're thinking spring because there's no heating or air conditioning in that house.
JoJo's cheating on me.
Yeah.
He's cheating on me.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna put that up there. JoJo, Greg just said you're cheating on him.
Yes. with yes. Moon and Moon.
So for all of those listening on other platforms and things like that can't actually see that, that was somebody from our chat, just to let you know.
Yeah.
Yes, we got to kind of say that once in a while because I get some messages. Yeah, I get some messages from people that just watch the podcast since we're on like a million platforms. I don't get what you were saying or this, that, and the other. And I realized they were listening on podcasts. So
Right.
they need to know that just a little bit. And also for everybody in the chat room, hello to everybody. We're kind of doing our StreamYard different. I can't chat if it's not my show unless I have my phone on me. And when I do shows, my phone is like 50 miles away because it always seems to ring and go off during a show. It's just so weird. So I put it aside. So hello to everybody, not ignoring you.
Yeah, and Rob doesn't know how to turn his ringer off. So that's
no, I do not. And the vibration is hard and it's in my area. It's a hot mess.
Yeah, it's a hot mess.
You know, speaking of a hot mess, how my day went today, I for the first time decided to make beef enchiladas. Yeah, first time. I've made a lot of different creations, and so I came up with my own recipe, and I kind of borrowed some off the internet here and there. And I knew I was coming on 8 o'clock my time, so I'm figuring I'll whip this up about a half hour. 2 hours into it, it's still not done. Okay. I've got like 40 minutes and I haven't even ate it yet. It's still cooking. 40 minutes, I got to do a show and I don't want to gobble my food down and do a show, you know. Well, I was able to pull it off. They came out very nice. You know, Greg, they came out very hot
and moist.
Very moist, very spicy, very spicy. In fact, it reminded me of that first time. It reminded me of that first time I took a deep plunge into my first taco. It was outstanding.
well, yeah. I mean, the prep work is the hardest part.
It could be.
Yeah.
Prep work was a son of a.
That could go so many ways, Rob. Just saying.
And because of what we were talking backstage, I figured you'd have gotten that one.
Yeah. Yep. Sure did. Brandy's like, yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
The tentacles.
Yeah. Yeah. So now the new word for Brandy is botanicals.
Botanicals, yes.
Yes.
That's my word, botanicals. I'm going to have to incorporate that into at least every conversation at least twice.
Yeah.
At least once.
Botanicals not to be confused with barnacles.
That's right.
Barnacles, yeah. I'll be like, don't touch my botanical.
JoJo's just like us. She says, Rob's taking a deep plunge.
Yeah, JoJo. I love JoJo. She's awesome. Yeah, indeed. She gets the humor.
So, you know, that tells everybody on all the other platforms, hey, come on over to YouTube. Watch us on YouTube.
It's really a lot more fun.
Because sometimes chat is like really interesting.
Yes.
So,
Mm-hmm.
And you never know what we'll be talking about. JoJo says this show is rated.
She's got a dirty mind. I don't know what you're talking about, JoJo. We're talking about flowers.
That's what I said. Don't touch my botanicals.
That's right.
Sweet smell and fragrance of the flower.
Moon at Noon says better than manacles.
That's true. Better than manacles. You're right.
Shiver my timbers, pirates.
Arr. Like I concur. I concur. Yes.
Yeah, that's funny. That's hilarious.
Oh.
So, anyway, we have Greg here tonight. We Brandy and I have an event, Blondes and Booze event tomorrow here at the museum, and we're going to do some paranormal 101, talk some cryptids. We're going to do some ghost hunting, and Greg came in from okay, Chad is really cracking me up with these comments. I gotta concentrate.
Yeah.
Okay.
That special sauce Medusa does. Little salty, I heard. Don't know.
Okay. Back on the rails. Back onto the rails.
I just can't reach.
Okay, so anyway, so there's a lot of stuff going on in chat right now, and of course, anyone out there just listening,
you need to come over to YouTube and watch.
Not my fault.
Okay,
it's always your fault, Greg. It always.
Anyway, so we have an event, and I'm sorry.
Stop laughing. And they call me the Giggle Swiss Miss.
I'm sorry.
I think you've taken it tonight, Krista. I think it's you.
I can't.
I am so glad. I'm so glad I can't chat back into the chat room right now.
Stop reading the chat.
You would get banned.
Put your hand over it. It's like I can't. Okay, all right now. Okay, now I can talk like this.
Okay, Brandy, you talk.
I don't even know what you were going to say. How am I supposed to finish that? I just know how to compose myself in awkward conversations. That's all that matters. Is I know how to to talk in awkward conversations.
Werewolf says get back on topic. We're going to pull it together right now.
Right now. Okay. So on a serious note, we are doing an event tomorrow. And Greg came up to do the event and stuff with us. And I don't remember where I was going with the story.
There's going to be Cryptid 101.
Oh, yes. Cryptid 101, Paranormal 101. And Eventbrite actually made it to where they stopped selling tickets on September 19th. And so
I know.
That tickets are sold out. They're not. If anybody's interested in coming, show up at the door. You can pay at the door.
Exactly. We talked about that last night on the show. Tex and I did. And I said, that's unbelievable that they cut that off like that. But it is what it is. And we did mention it last night, but there still are tickets available. Even though I'm not there tonight, I will be there tomorrow. And I don't know.
Yep.
I have no idea.
So tomorrow night, we'll be going live with Paranormal Paul doing some investigating. And then also on the late night with BMR, we're going to do some investigating from here at the museum. So we decided we're not going to do anything tonight here at the museum, show wise. And we're actually going to talk. Greg actually had a Bigfoot encounter, another one here just a week or so ago.
Last week. Mm-hmm.
So he come on to talk about it.
That's good though. I mean, was your encounter typical? Like we always hear, like across the road, or what happened?
Yeah. So I'm starting filming for my third film.
Mhm.
And we went to North Georgia to a unique business, and I was kind of highlighting this business so that it's a good it's a feel good lead in to the rest of the story, because the rest of the story is a little bit dark, but I wanted some feel good stuff in there. So we're out investigating some Sasquatch, or some areas that were Sasquatch supposed to be, and we're on our way. And typically, I would be filming the journey because you can never tell what happens,
Right.
And sure enough, right on cue, the expedition leader he looks over at me and he starts to talk about something, and then something crosses the road right in front of us, and I'm like, what the F is that? At first I thought, I'm gonna be honest, at first I thought it was the biggest freaking black bear I've ever seen in my life. It's huge. But then it starts to go up an embankment. When it starts to go up the embankment, once across the road in front of us, you could, its arms kind of spread it out a little bit further. And I was like, holy Moses, that does not look like a bear, So we stop and investigate it. And we found the tracks that it left. It left 17.5-inch tracks.
Wow.
And these were fresh. We stopped like immediately, right? And it was only about 40 feet, 50 feet in front of us. So I got a really, really good look. I didn't get a look at its face, but the rest of it, it had arms and legs, and it was on all fours, crawling across, and it moved so dadgum fast. It was extremely fast. And typically when you spook a bear, it'll run maybe 30, 40 yards, and it'll stop, stand up, and turn around and look at you. Every bear that I've spooked has done something very, very similar to that, and it didn't do that at all. It just kind of took off. But it went up an embankment probably about between 60 and 70 degrees, like it was nothing, like it wasn't not even there. And we started looking for claw marks in the dirt. Like I would estimate the creature to be between 600-700 pounds.
It's a big one.
Yeah, it's a big boy. It was extremely wide. And you think a bear of that size, it would like dig into the embankment as it pulled itself up, and it would leave.
Absolutely. Yes.
It didn't leave claw marks. It did leave footprints, but
can you tell them how big the footprints were?
Well, yeah, the footprints were 17.5 inches long.
That's big.
That's big.
Very, very big. And I was really struggling for a while, thinking it was just a gigantic bear, And then we finally came across the footprints, and they were like, no, bears don't leave 17.5-inch footprints. And it's a footprint. You could see that. You'll clear. Well, I'll show it when it comes to my film, my third film. But you can see where the toes were, and it's a footprint, and it left like knuckle prints where it like went up the embankment. It seemed like it was like moving like this, where it was like had its fingers curled in as it's walking on them, crawling on them. And there's some evidence there that suggested that's exactly what it was doing, other than the footprint. So my conclusion was it was no bear, because number one, bears don't have elbows. They don't have elbows. They don't have arms. They have legs, but they don't have arms.
Right.
And this thing had arms because its arms was out wide from it.
You got a question here real quick. Ristel asked, did you get to cast them, Greg?
It was in leaves, and it was going up the embankment.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So if you try to cast that, it would just run down.
Run out the bottom, yeah.
Right. So I mean, it was a phenomenal sighting, just absolutely phenomenal, and it was absolutely huge. So
now I'm sorry, where were you at again? What state?
Georgia, north part of Georgia.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. All right.
Yeah, it was in North Georgia. So I mean, it kind of left me speechless for a little while. And then if that wasn't enough, when we're doing a fireside chat, and we were actually filming at this point, something comes down and walks around our camp, like halfway around our camp.
That's cool.
And and one of, I guess, my new crewmate, he like he got scared to death there for a minute. He was like rebuking it and everything. Stay away, trying to be as quiet as he could. But he wasn't prepared for what all happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't rebuke something if it's not, from the devil.
It was just curious. Whatever it was, just curious. Yeah.
It is like you could pray to God to help save you, but that's about all you could do. I've been there. But to bring it up though, Greg, when I had my encounter with Krista in Missouri, now I was going through all of the what is that thing? Was it human? My second thought, was it a bear?
Right.
And then I'm like, a bear doesn't stand like that. They don't stand completely upright. And that was my thing. It doesn't stand completely upright. A bear will kind of be hunched a little bit. So I'm like, so yeah, I get it. When you're running that through your mind, you're trying to wrap your head around what exactly you're looking at.
Right.
Yeah. And my first inclination was that it was not a bear, because if the first thing that ran through my mind was, I don't know what that was. That's why I said, what the F is that, instead of, hey, there's a bear.
Right.
If it would have immediately registered as a bear, I would have normally said, hey, there's a bear.
You'd called it out as a bear. And you're like, what is that? Which is automatically puts you in that, holy cow, there's something that ain't a bear.
Right.
Right. Absolutely.
So, I mean, it was absolutely an incredible encounter. And one of the only times that I wasn't filming.
That sucks.
Yeah, that does suck. It would have been a fantastic catch. However, a couple of weeks before, I was out and still filming again. And what I did get on camera, or thermal rather, was another one where something that was peeking behind a tree. And it was verified through somebody else who had Gen 3 night vision. So he actually called it to my attention, and I turned around and I had the thermal and put it up, and I said, "Yeah, there's something peeping behind a tree back there."
That's cool.
Yeah, that was awesome, and I was like going to get a really, really good look at it. Because I had captured it on thermal, but it's. It's kind of blobby when it comes to thermal. I'll just be honest with you. So I was trying to get it on night vision, and I've got some really, really good night vision stuff, but it casts like a really, almost like a spotlight, an IR spotlight out. And as soon as I turned that on, it bolted. Was nowhere.
But you did catch it on thermal, correct?
Yeah, I got it on thermal. Yes, absolutely. We got it.
Oh, I can't wait to the third documentary, and I haven't even seen the second one yet.
Or the first.
Hold on.
Hey, Greg, do you find when you catch images on thermal, it's really hard to tell what it is? Because doesn't it seem like it all kind of gels together, kind of blobs
It's
together?
kind of blobby. It's kind of
Yeah.
blobby. I didn't get to look at it through the night vision that my partner was with, because it's attached to his helmet, and it's real militaristic like. It's difficult to take them off. Anyway, long story short, I was wanting to get a really good look at it through my night vision. I got a prototype night vision. It's really good. But what happened was as soon as I turned on the infrared spotlight, it bolted. It was gone. And this says one thing to me, that they can see into the infrared. I'm firm believer now that they can see into the infrared.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of people have said, yes, they can see that. And you just confirmed it for yourself that, yes, they can see it.
Yeah,
so you have to take that into consideration.
Right, that they can see it, because, I mean, it wasn't a fleeting encounter. We had sat there and watched it for maybe 10 minutes. And just as soon as I turned on the spotlight, the IR spotlight, it bolted. It was gone.
Wow.
So you don't think that it saw you? Do you think? I mean, did you think that it knew?
Yeah, it was looking at us. Yeah, I mean, it obviously saw us. It was peeking at us. It was, it would do the classic, there's a tree here and he's peeking out from it.
Brandy saw that happen. She saw that. I shined at a couple of years ago at the LBL. We were there.
Yeah, I did see that. And because, I mean, you gotta wonder if there were more out there. I mean, you've seen the one, but what if there were more that you weren't seeing?
Right.
We're kind of, when Greg was telling me about his encounter today, he told me that it was on all fours, and what I find interesting, why do you guys think, and throw your 2 cents in, why do you think that they go on all fours? Because to me, 2 feet, I mean, they're fast, from what we hear, but then why do you think it was on all four? Or different encounters, what do you guys think?
If I just had the first thing that comes to my mind, not knowing anything about why, if they can use all fours, to me, it seems like it would be more comfortable, less energy. But then again, we walk as human beings on 2 feet. We don't expend no energy. We certainly can't walk on our arms and legs. That's tiring. That's, we did those, remember those crab crawls and the bear crawls you did in gym in high school. That's a backbreaker for us. And I think that it must be the way their structure, their bones are set up, where they can.
Well, I agree with people saying.
I think they can probably run faster on all fours. I'll bet as well.
Yeah.
It was blazing fast. I'll tell you that it was blazing fast. So, and plus, I don't see why a bear that size would really run from us, because I mean, it would have been the king of the woods.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting.
That is interesting, though. I mean, but that must have been fun and exciting, just watching it play peekaboo with you.
That was, it really was. It was like a game,
Yeah. And something we can talk about too, that we kind of talked about it on BMR show the other night, but why do you think, Greg, he's really getting a lot of encounters, and same with us, we're open to the ghost thing, and BMR, look at everything that you've witnessed your life, so do you think it's because your third eye is open, or and these beings can see the light bulb on, hey, I'm open to it? Or what do you guys think about that?
Well, I think it's a whole lot of things. For number one, I mean, he's open to seeing it. I do believe that is one thing. I believe that he's not putting off that, how do you want to put it, a harmful vibration, they should be afraid to show up. But also, Greg is a traveler. He gets to go to all the creme de la creme places, of where these things are being seen, So he does get to do that. Now, like us or something, like we have one location that we go to continuously. Are we going to see them every time? Absolutely not. But, so I think that he has a more better probability because he gets to go everywhere.
Right.
That's a good point. I was told long ago, don't know that I maybe subscribed to this theory, but this is way back. I mean, I talked to this guy. It was roughly a year. It was probably around 2019 when I had my encounter in 2018. And I was talking to this guy. His name was Bigfoot Bob from Germany. Okay, who back at the time used to participate in a lot of these shows in the chat room, and I had gotten to talking with him. Then we spoke on the phone. I got his phone number. In fact, I got it from text. Text also happens to know him back in the day. And he's had many encounters in Germany. He now lives in Las Vegas. But back in 2019, he told me, which kind of scared me, heard my encounter story. And he said, Rob, you're now going to be marked by Bigfoot for the rest of your life. And I go, what do you mean by that? He goes, once you see one and one sees you and you make that eye-to-eye contact and and they know that you've seen it, they said he has this belief that transitions to all these other cryptids of the forest that this person, quote unquote, Rob, knows about us. And they're less afraid to show them to you, especially if they know your intentions.
Right.
When I said that my intention was to go back into the forest with a machine gun and just wax it and blow it apart after Cindy died, that totally was a bad vibe and a bad frequency. But as I got more and more involved with this, realizing that wasn't the reason, and the fact that I'm more open to it, that you're more exposed to it. Now, I haven't seen a Bigfoot since, but you guys always said too, a lot of the people that have paranormal experiences with ghosts, entities, whatever, I see them all the time from childhood. Yeah. And I think the more you see, they know that anyways. So I think something, you said the third eye. I think our vibration, our frequency is set as such where we're more easily available to them and them to us. If that makes sense. That's just
right. And like in Greg's case, I think they we were talking about frequency and vibration. I think they come check him out because they're like, hey, there's this new guy here. He sees us, I want to check him out.
And two, one of the things that I do before I go out is I'll meditate beforehand. And when I'm meditating, what I'm trying to do is manifest an encounter. And I actually really think that works, because ever since I've started doing that, the encounters have skyrocketed. And it's not just been with Bigfoot or possible Bigfoots. It's also been with orbs and other
strange
stuff.
Other phenomena.
Other phenomena. That's just freaking weird, and I really think that, that has something to do with it as well, because not only am I opening myself up to being able to see these things, I'm also manifesting encounters. And when I do that, I firmly believe that I'm going to have an encounter when I go out. I mean, it's not like, oh, I wonder if I'm going to have an encounter.
I wonder what encounter I'm going to have this time. Yeah,
right. And it's not a belief; it's a knowing. I know it's going to happen. And when that happens, I'm not surprised. Because I know it was going to happen. I might not know when or how or what it's going to be, but I know that something's going to happen.
Man, I believe in the power of manifestation. I think I've done it throughout my life periodically. And then I told you guys, like almost about a year ago, I started getting really interested in time travel and astral projection. I think I was listening too much Art Bell. And then I started reading up. I bought a book on astral projecting. And then, Greg, I started meditating. And I read these meditations and concentrated on projecting myself out of my body. Right? I was doing this. I did this for months on end with no progress. I started getting fed up, like this is all hooey, you know. And I tried it one time, and I was sitting in my all too familiar chair that you guys know about. And where all of a sudden, you guys have heard the story. I was trying to astral project, doing this deep meditation, and I finally got to the state where I was gone. I mean, my mind went elsewhere. I knew I was physically in the chair, you guys. And as you remember, I felt myself and I felt physically like I was crawling down the hallway on all fours for whatever reason. I don't know. Then I looked over my shoulder and I was in the chair meditating, watching the television. And then it scared the hell out of me and I snapped out of it.
You snapped back. Exactly.
I snapped back because it scared me. And I haven't done it since because then I started telling that to a few other people. I said, Rob, if you don't know what the heck you're doing, you don't know where you're projecting yourself to or who could take over your projected being. It could be something nefarious, could be something positive, but you just don't know what you're playing with. And they said that could be very dangerous.
Absolutely.
Am I still interested? Absolutely, I am. But I don't think I'm going to partake in practicing it as a novice unless I was with somebody that's done it and succeeded in a positive way.
Absolutely. Because, when you're doing that, you're leaving your vessel unattended. It's vulnerable. So I don't recommend it unless you have precautions set up to prevent anything from happening. Sure.
Little Patty, you're Rob. Rob, your mind is always elsewhere. LOL. Thank you for that, little Patty. But yeah, it is always elsewhere. Trust me. It's been elsewhere since, I don't know.
You must know you pretty good, kind of like we do.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. You never know where this mind has traveled to.
Well, sounds like, well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, kind of. Yeah. Back on topic.
So Greg, you're working on your third film?
I am. I'm working on my third. It's going to be a little bit different than the first two, in the fact that it's going to be a little bit darker. It's going to center around missing people, and I'm going to kind of leave it off at that. And then I have a fourth planned and a fifth planned.
Wow.
Yeah. So
can you give us anything other than?
Well, one of those is going to be the return to the LBL. So we're going to go back and see if we can replicate some of the things that happened during the making of The Land Between the Lakes. And replication would be fantastic.
No, of course.
Because if you can duplicate what happened, that it's a real event, and then you can derive theories from it. But
right,
the cast will change up some. It'll be just there'll be enough change in there to make it much more interesting. So it's not the same thing over and over and over again.
Right.
So, yeah, I do like to throw in story behind it, but when the return to the LBL may just be strictly, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go try to find what we experienced again, and I'm going to be careful with what I say here. I really want to see Dogman. I don't know that I've
don't put that intention out.
Well, I want to get it on camera, because if people are seeing this thing, then I want to document it, saying, "Hey,
I want to see it at a safe distance. A safe distance. That's fine. Just let me film you just for a little bit. I mean, 3 minutes is good. 3 minutes is all I need."
our encounter at the LBL the first time with the Bigfoots was intense enough. I mean, it was extremely intense.
Yes.
But like I say, if people are seeing this dog man or werewolf, whatever we want to call it, I want to at least put it out there that hey, this is something real that people are seeing, and they're not making things up. I'm not interested in proving anything.
Right.
I absolutely will not. Even if I had solid proof, if I had a dead body, I would not tell the government about it. So I don't want.
Oh, absolutely not.
I don't want to prove anything.
I'm with you on that.
So
I think, we're all concur on that.
Ever going to do that? Yeah.
What about the mystery?
I don't know. I mean, for me, it's just like I understand what you're saying, but I wouldn't want to prove anything either. I know what I know.
Right.
I don't have to prove that to anybody. If you don't believe my story, and that's
Right.
okay.
And there's nothing you can
That's
do.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. It's a crazy story. I get it. You don't have to believe me, but I know what I saw.
Right.
Right.
And the stuff that we film, I mean, there's nothing hoaxed or ganky about any of that stuff that we put in our film. It's all real. I mean, you might interpret what you see differently, and I'm not going to tell somebody how they should think. But what you see is what you get in our films. It's there's nothing ganky or hoaxed about it. So and I'm going to continue doing the same.
Yeah.
Well, all I have to say about it is everything that you experienced at the LBL, well, almost all of it. I know you can not recreate it, but it will happen again. We've seen a lot of that stuff numerous times.
Yeah, that's what I look forward to. I mean, certainly not everything happens every time you go out. I mean,
Right.
I definitely want to put that out there that 90% of the time we go out, nothing happens. But however, when I've been manifesting, that percentage has gone up a little bit, but not a whole lot. So we still have a whole lot of unusable footage that's out there. Trust me. But that's why another reason why it takes so long to make these films is just getting the footage and the content that people are really interested in seeing.
Yes.
I completely understand. I mean, we go on just a paranormal investigation, and the amount of video and the amount of audio.
Sure.
It takes hours and hours and hours just to find even a small, minute thing.
That's right.
And I can't imagine trying to do a documentary. You couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at the shows on TV, they're trying to fill 40 minutes, 39 minutes, and they're there for a week.
Right.
Real quick, Greg, can you answer this? 86 asks, are Greg's films available on YouTube?
The Donny Booger, you can pull it up on YouTube, and it's, I guess, technically under Stash TV. But it's under free documentaries on YouTube. So you can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on Tubi, Amazon. You can watch it on a whole host of things. Pretty much any streaming platform it'll be on.
I watched it on Tubi.
I did too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
Hey,
Greg, tell us about the. I'm sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
No, just really quickly. I was going to say, and no, I was not banned from chat. I don't have my phone on me for people just coming in. I think I've said the F-bomb once on accident in 3 years. But anyway.
Well, maybe 2 or 3 times.
Oh, no more than this many.
No more than this many.
Yeah, so anyways, moving forward. I agree. Every time, again, I don't have to prove anything. I know what I know. You guys know what you know. And if you don't believe me, you don't believe me. I'm in for the mystery behind why they exist, right? And that's what I want to figure out.
That's what I'm here for.
And here's the thing, and Greg says, yes, we don't have encounters every time you go out, but that's an interesting thing when you talk about people and sometimes don't believe certain people. I had Carter Bouchard on the show this past Thursday with brunch, right? And I've known him for 4 or 5 years. I met him actually playing poker in Las Vegas. Had no idea that he was a Bigfoot guy until I happened on Facebook. And He's written several books on the subject. He's a big woo guy. He believes it's paranormal. He believes that they're not just one thing. He believes they're dimensional, all this and the other. Written several books. And then he came out last year with a book on his alien abduction. He claims to have been abducted by an alien, this, that, and the other. And we discussed that on the show. And then he got a lot of kickback from people. Oh, Carter, you've ran out of things to talk about in your books regarding Bigfoot. Now you just made up this cockamamie story that you were abducted. He says that's not the case at all. He just found out 3 years ago that he was allegedly abducted as he went through a regressive therapy session where he heard the tape back from a person he paid $500 to because things were unsettling in his mind. He had this unsettling reasoning, and he thought it was all about the Bigfoot, his habituation with Bigfoot. So he went under this process. Comes back that he had been abducted as a younger man in his 30s. The guy's 72 years old. So he goes, Rob, the things that I learned today about myself, you'd never know. So the pushback from people saying you're making things up. Listen, he says, phooey on you. I know what I know, what I know. It doesn't matter. You can take what I have to share you with a grain of salt. You can believe me or you can move on. He says, because Rob, it doesn't matter to me. Right. And that's the way it should be. That's the way I feel about all of them we have going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Interesting. Well, it is interesting. I just wonder if everyone out there is, who's having experiences like we've had experiences, are having more. I mean, we've talked to a few people that have had more experience since their first one. So I'm interested to know if people are having multiples. And somebody was talking about in chat about the dogman being more aggressive. That's the other point. The dogman being more aggressive in the South than in the northern states. And I believe so. And I'm going to tell you what, because it's hot down here, people. It's hot. It's hot. And then you get about 2 to 3 weeks of nice weather, and then it's cold. I mean,
anybody in bed.
Yeah, that's funny. Me and Krista said that just the other night too.
Yeah, it's they're angry about the weather. They're just angry. No, I don't know. I mean, it does sound like from reports that I've heard that they are more aggressive in the South. Do you know if there's a reason for that, or what do you think a reason is for that?
We don't have anywhere I live, so I very rarely encounter bear.
Really?
I don't know.
There are no wolves in Alabama.
Wolves? No. Well, no wolves, no bear.
Wolves are up north, aren't they? Like northern states, like by you, Rob.
Well, we do have the occasional wolf, but they're not claimed by the DNR.
Oh.
For me to see a wolf or a bear, you got to go about 100 miles north minimum.
We don't have wolves here, but we have bear.
In my area, I can't tell you. I can't tell you. Since they've introduced the elk back into the ecosystem down here, things that weren't here before are now coming, and then things that haven't been seen here for decades are now back. So it's going to be interesting to see, just by introducing one animal back into our area, what's going to happen. Like I said, they've already spotted bear and cougar and just other animals that they haven't seen in years. They're back. So we'll see. I mean, it could get kind of exciting down here, I guess.
I can tell you one thing that we have in great abundance here in the South, or at least in Alabama: chiggers.
Oh yeah,
lots have them here. Of chiggers.
We have them here too. And
lots.
We have them.
I cannot even tell you.
Yes, it's
like a flea, but it embeds itself into your skin and creates a bump, and it becomes very, very itchy. Like super itchy.
And the bug, the chigger, is under your skin.
Yes. Yeah. And it's not just one. It's like there's multiple. There's usually more than one chigger bite. You have like 5, 6, or 100,
Yeah, if you encounter one or two, there'll be a million there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's why I always spray my boots. I spray my pants, my socks.
Permethrin.
Those things are awful.
Mhm.
Awful.
Yeah, it's one of the other reasons why I don't film in the summertime. Past March, I don't film again until October.
Mhm.
It's just when you get around all the bugs and they're loud as Hades, and then the frogs and just the amount of noise out in the forest is just unbearable. You can't film out there.
You can't hear nothing.
Yeah, you can't hear anything. You can't make out anything. So, well, I learned. Hey, trust me, I learned the hard way on that.
And I've asked many times, why did God invent chiggers and ticks and fleas? What purpose do they have?
Just to bug me. That's why.
86 sounds like that's worse than encountering Dogman. You know what?
It is.
I think I'd rather encounter the Dogman versus a chigger.
Mm-hmm.
They are awful.
They are. Yeah, they're horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to tell you.
I don't do.
But I will have to say this. There is one thing that my family has used for years. You can get it at Walmart or it should be any pharmacy, but it's called Absorbine Junior.
Oh yeah, I've heard
and
that.
It's on a little roller, and you just roll it over the bites and stuff, and just keep doing it, and it helps alleviate some of that itching and all of that stuff. Yeah, it smells really bad,
man.
But
I think
it works.
I think if I were ever to hang with you guys in the woods, I'm just gonna invest in a wetsuit, but then it'd probably be too hot.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you'd be sweltering. The best thing I do is I use bug spray, and I actually, before I even go on the trip, I will spray down all of my clothes and let them dry, and so they'll already be ready to go.
Right.
And a lot of the sprays out there are specially made for clothing, and some of them they'll stay in your clothing for 5 washes.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sure that Absorbing Junior also will double as birth control too.
Repellent of all kinds. Repellent of all kinds. I'm just saying. I was just trying to give you a remedy for your chiggers, Greg, but okay. I didn't say I had chiggers. I said you were talking about chiggers. So your chiggers, they're your chiggers. So I don't want them, I promise you.
Brandy, you have botanicals.
That's right.
I have
Sugar my britches, mateys.
Don't touch my botanicals.
It's funny.
Oh gosh, off the rails again.
I think though, like, I don't know. Going out in the woods, like these I don't know if chiggers do, but I know like ticks, they cause so many different diseases and things like that.
Oh, I know.
It's not just they're not just annoying. I mean, they're particularly dangerous,
Just like the ticks we have here in Michigan killing the deer, a tick. Gives them a disease.
Yeah, people get Lyme disease. That's an awful disease.
I actually got Lyme disease several years ago, so it almost doesn't. It didn't kill me, but it obviously, because I'm still here. Duh. But anyway, it almost done me in for like Bigfoot hunting and going out at night.
Do you have issues now with having Lyme disease?
I still have some like joint issues with stiff joints and hurty joints and all that, but all the other issues have luckily subsided. But it took about 1.5 years for all the major symptoms to go away.
Yeah, awful disease.
Freaky Geek says you're all talking about nature's tiny vampires.
Yep.
True story.
Yep, true story.
Pancho Zorch says, wear the pantyhose. He swears by that.
I told him that. I said, wear pantyhose. I wear pantyhose. The ticks and stuff can't get through the pantyhose. It's true.
Sense.
If you wear pantyhose, then what are you going to cook your coffee in?
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
That's for the used pantyhose.
A nice strainer.
Well, it's okay if you like coffee. But what he's referring to is that at the LBL during filming of the first show, the LBL one, Our friend Erin makes coffee through pantyhose, using pantyhose, campfire
Interesting
coffee.
flavors.
Now, I'm assuming.
No, it actually really works.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
assuming it's
really
new
works.
pantyhose,
Yeah,
fresh out of the package, correct?
Mm-hmm.
It's not what she takes off after a day's hike.
Well, the coffee we drink, Rob, yes. Greg, I don't know.
There you go. Okay,
I don't know about.
I just had to clarify.
Somebody
You never
said,
know. You never know.
I'm not right. I'm sorry.
And we know that, Greg. We know you're not right. We just know it. Oh gosh. Okay, let's
take
back
me
on track.
anywhere.
Back on track.
Coffee's a little nutty.
All right.
What did you just say, BMR?
That's a nutty flavor in the coffee.
Oh boy.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, everybody compose yourself.
I'm composed.
Pancho says that he learned about the pantyhose in the army, Brandy.
Oh, in the army. Oh, they also keep you warm in the wintertime. Just thought I'd tell you that too.
Ah.
Stuff to know.
And yes, 86 fishnets would be useless.
Okay, freaky. Yes,
Well, I
freaky. I'm
you
done
might be
looking at chat
attracting-
once again.
Yeah, maybe it'll attract Bigfoot. Maybe they might be helpful.
You try
Maybe
it
we
first.
should make Greg wear them, and we'll throw them out there in the woods and see if it works.
Hey, you can't do that to the dog man eye candy. No. Mm-mm.
That's true. That is so true.
It's not the red light district dog man eye candy. It's just the dog man eye candy.
So for those of you that don't know, Adam Davies nicknamed Greg Dogman Eye Candy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
2
and
years-
yeah, it was 2 years ago now. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
I kind of can
So-
see that, and I never met the man.
You never met. You met Greg.
No, the other. Yes, Greg
Adam.
I've met.
Adam.
So my Adam seems like. Yes, I've heard a lot of his different comments throughout the years without meeting him.
Well, that whole story goes back to that Dogman conference in Texas. I wasn't a speaker, and I knew most of the speakers, and I was like, I've heard their talk before, and so I'm just kind of walking around the vendors area, just like, hey, how you doing? Just talking with folks, and Adam says like, Greg, what are you doing? You're just walking around like eye candy. You're Dogman eye candy, and I'm like, and it just stuck.
Yeah, that's a true story.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah. So yeah, he's.
And now you've never lived it down. So there that is.
No. Now I
Yeah.
tell everybody he's from Australia.
Yeah.
There
Yeah,
you go.
Sent him an Australian flag today.
You know what? I will tell you this. You know what's cool about getting involved with all this and meeting all the various people? A lot of very flavorful and colorful people
Yep.
in this.
But you know what though? I've met like some of my best friends doing this. weird
No,
shit.
and I mean that as a compliment. A lot of very down to earth, genuine people.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
I will say the camaraderie and doing all
Yeah.
this
Mhm.
is just is off the chain.
Yeah.
You get around some. If you like the outdoors, you will meet some outdoorsy people
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
doing all this, and it's the camaraderie is number one.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the first takeaway I have from all this is the camaraderie, the people that I've met, some fantastic people, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to tell some great stories.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we always have fun everywhere we go. So if you guys have not done so yet and you're in the Alabama area, January 4th, Greg has tickets still available, don't you?
Yes, there's a few tickets to the premiere that we're having at AMC Theater in Coleman, Alabama. There's the VIPs are about sold out, so I don't think there's any more of those left. But there's still some general seating tickets left, and they're very reasonable. So if you're in the area, come by. It'll be a fun time. It'll be almost like a mini conference, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
But with a focus on watching a movie at some point during that time.
Mm-hmm.
At some point.
At some point,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. And were we going to be able to buy popcorn and like regular movie?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you can. I mean, it's just like you know, a regular movie. You'll be able to go buy popcorn, and you know, they have a good selection of like hamburgers and other eats there that you can take into the movie with you. And that's one of the reasons why I couldn't cater the event, because you can't compete with what they're having, and they have a good selection there to be able to eat with. So
yeah, so come and hang out with us, because we always have a good time. Always. BMR, are you going to make it back down to Alabama?
Not for any conferences.
This isn't a conference. This is the premiere.
I know. That was kind of an inside joke. Yes, I'd like to come down. I wanted to come to Alabama once. I do like Alabama. I think it's a cool state. We had a great time.
We did.
Twice that I've been there. You know, I liked it. Hung out with Greg. That was a lot of fun. I had fun when I was there.
Yeah,
yes, I wouldn't mind getting down in January myself. I got to look at it. I was looking up some things on that not too long ago.
Yeah. And for those that can't make it, there's going to be a streaming version as well. So tickets for that will go on sale right after Thanksgiving. So I'm thinking the target date is Black Friday.
Awesome.
Aristal in chat would like to know Greg, will there be botanicals?
There's going to be lots of botanicals there. Come by and you can smell the botanicals.
Very
And
nice.
Sniff them.
Kimber asked, and will they be moist?
I can't guarantee that they're going to be moist. They could be crusty.
Nothing like a crusty botanical.
Oh.
Man. Oh boy.
There'll be
I'm imagining that. It's not.
You can sniff them, he says.
You can sniff the botanical. We give out free sniffs.
Sniff and scratch.
Okay, now Brandy's got the.
I don't even know what to do with y'all. I don't even know what to do with y'all. I just don't. I mean, between chat, you guys, I can't keep the show on track.
You're talking about flowers. What are you talking about?
I just can't keep the show on track. I mean, like I said, between chat and you guys, I'm doomed. Yeah,
And we're sober tonight too.
Just regular me. People haven't seen the inebriated.
I tell you what, no, I'm pretty. I've been drinking water all day long, Krista. See, I'm on my water kick.
There you go, and you feel better too, don't you?
Yeah, I'm finally not dehydrated for whatever the reason.
There you go.
You know, I was working in the yard forever the other day before the show. I sweated and sweated, and I was cramping up in my forearm. I'm like, ugh, you know.
Yep.
About 8 of these today already. 8.
Yeah. I'm just trying to save my brain cells. That's it. That's it.
I hear you.
And here Corey Cole says, I charge $0.25 a sniff.
Lady.
Shadows.
Thank you, Two Shadows.
Thanks, Two Shadows. That's awesome.
Thank you, Two Shadows.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Oh my goodness, you guys. I mean, it is always fun when we all get together and we do chat, because I mean, we have our filter on, if you can believe that.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
We do have our filter on. We are being very delicate with each other right now. Because I'll tell you what, when we're all together, there are shots fired. I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
shots fired.
No holes barred.
Literally.
Yeah, and they make a ricochet sound, kind of like I'm just kidding.
Donny Cho says, now if we were on his show, he's right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole other show to
that's a whole different show. Yeah.
That is the Donny Cho show. He says stuff.
Right.
Boy, does he.
Yeah, I think Donny, with the kind of show, it would be probably NC-17 with with all the shots fired. I'm just saying. There may be violence. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Today just seemed like one of those weird days.
Somebody.
She doing it.
Yeah,
Too.
it is. It's like I know I'm like super tired, so I'm kind of like that slap happy, silly
Tell
kind
me
of.
about it.
Nice.
How do you think I was at the beginning of the show? Hello.
Right, and that's exactly what it's like. And it's like I'm like, oh my goodness. I mean, I'm drinking Dr. Pepper. I should have gotten water.
Mm.
Well, at least
Should
you're
have
going
gotten
to
water.
sleep good tonight, Brandy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get lots of sleep because I like I said, I'm gonna get out of here pretty early in the morning so I can get there at a decent hour. And and
I'll
I
be
am
waiting
looking
on
forward to being with everybody tomorrow night because it's for number one, it's always fun
Yes.
to investigate with you guys. I mean, it's always fun, and I haven't been anywhere in an awfully long time, and I'm kind of stir crazy,
Way
Oh,
overdue.
yeah.
and
Yeah.
so I'm ready to go.
Brandy,
And
actually, I don't think you've been anywhere since the last Alabama Bigfoot conference, which was
yeah, I
in
haven't been anywhere since. No, it was
June.
July.
Oh, you did
July.
you went to Malvern. That's right.
Yeah, I went to Malvern, but see, I mean, it's always great, but all my trips are like I go one day, come back the next, and it's like I never get to go for long. I need an extended like Bigfoot vacation. I just need to go out and Bigfoot for a week.
Mhm.
That's what I need to do.
And, it's always my favorite shows with you guys. I love all the shows, obviously, but my
Mhm.
favorites are when you guys are out in the field investigating and you do a show from the field,
Mhm.
which is why I'm really geeked about what you guys are doing. Because Saturday night
Mhm.
we'll be broadcasting on
Right.
my channel with you guys out
Yeah.
there yourselves and Greg and I think Paranormal Paul is going to be with you guys. I
Mhm.
think
Yep.
Mhm.
so.
Yeah,
Midnight
this will be the
Saturday,
first
everybody.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah, this will be the first time I'm meeting Paranormal Paul in person.
that'd be awesome. Yeah,
Really?
he's a great guy. I
Yeah,
met him
I've
in
not met him yet.
Missouri.
Mm-mm.
I
Yeah.
met Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a great
Yeah.
guy. And everybody listening Saturday night at midnight, it will be us four. Well, me and Monica will be hosting, and these guys will be in the field, and we're going to see what type of paranormal activity they can muster up. That's always so fun doing that.
Well, what's really cool too is our friend Terry. She has one of the God's helmets, and she'll be here tomorrow. And so, yeah, we'll get to do some of that with that, and it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean we've done it before with her and had really good
I
results.
actually did it here with her.
Yeah, we've had really good results with her to where she was talking and had this thing on. She's telling us, what she can see, where she's seeing it at, and then we've had equipment go off in that area. And so I mean, it's been quite interesting. So we'll see if we can get something working with that tomorrow night.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah,
Lil Patty,
we'll be.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
I am actually in Richmond now. I am at the Ray County Museum. Brandy will be here tomorrow. Yep.
I am not here yet.
I don't think you're ever fully. in.
I'm never fully there.
Yeah, did you see him trying to sniff me? Like, y'all got to understand, Greg, people. It's nothing. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, I'm retarded. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and if you're new in the chat room, we're all just a tad off tonight. We're not
Yeah.
normally like this 100%.
Yeah.
Only sometimes,
Mhm.
just sometimes, once in a while. And
Yeah,
Medusa,
I mean,
I don't
because-
know if you're addressing me in Michigan. I live downriver, Michigan.
Well, I mean, because the big shows are really tomorrow night, and we like to
Yeah.
talk about stuff, and we wanted to talk about Greg's encounter
Yeah.
and things like that,
Well-
and how cool that was. But the big shows are tomorrow night, where we're all going to be investigating, and we're starting off with Paranormal Among Us with Paranormal Paul at 7
Yes,
o'clock, and then
that'd be
we're going to
awesome.
come back on at 11 p.m. Central on Rob's show.
Mhm.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
just
it'll
going to be a
be great-
full-on
great
investigative mode.
Saturday. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making sure I get my sleep for tomorrow. I, like you guys, only slept 5 hours and woke up just too much water, Chris. I kept going to the bathroom every 5 minutes at night.
But that's good for you. Water is good for you.
Yeah, well, I was getting all the toxins out of the system, I guess.
Yeah.
And hydrating.
Right.
Yes, hydrate.
And I bet you haven't had any cramps either, have you?
No, not yet. No.
No?
I had to think about that one.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I was going to say something else, but I decided against it.
Well, as Greg
Me
is
too.
holding his mouth,
Me
you
too.
everybody out there who's listening or watching, hey, you already figured it out. You already knew what he was going to go, where he was going to go. And that's why you always need to be on your toes around Greg, because if you set yourself up for him to say something, you're going to have to snap back, back, clap back, whatever you want to do there, but you're going to have to figure it out.
Right.
And you got to be
Like
quick.
again,
Absolutely.
yeah, you got to be quick, real quick.
But you mentioned about all the big stuff. Trying to be a little bit on the serious side. We've figured out a way to podcast, I guess, and for lack of a better term, go live from some of our investigations. It's going to be out in the deep forests.
Oh, wow.
So
Yes.
I look forward to that coming up in the coming months and years.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yes, we've figured out a way to do that, and for it to be to get a really nice signal. So I'll leave it at that. And,
yeah, that's awesome. And
stuff.
Greg too. You get better and better every year with all your filmmaking, your learning, studying up on it, and with technology today, I can see at the drop of a hat just going into the woods and picking up great feeds. You know, uninterrupted, clear.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times when we're in base camp, we actually have more activity going on at base camp than we do when we go on walkabout. So it'd be a prime time to be able for people to see what actually happens sometimes in the base camp, and we'll be able to broadcast live from these areas. So I'm looking forward to this experiment.
Very cool. There's nothing better than going out to the woods and sitting around a campfire and let them come to you.
Right. And if you're going out to do any of this, that should be your first goal, is just to go out and spend a good evening by the campfire and with some good people and some good stories and a drink if you have one, and just enjoy the night. And if something happens, great, and if it doesn't,
and even too, Greg, I think you kind of might agree with this. At least for all the people I've spoken with and stories have been sent to me or encounters, it's almost like when you're out looking on the trail, you may find something, you may not, but it always seems like back at base camp, when you're sitting around just relaxing, not thinking about Bigfoot or cryptids or whatever you're looking for, they will always find you more so than you will find them.
That's exactly right. I 100% agree with you, Rob. Yeah. When we came back after that sighting, I was actually just trying to finish up some interviews, and that's why we did a campfire interview. And I wasn't expecting any activity to go on, but sure enough, we had something come in real close to camp, kind of walk around just the outside perimeters of the light, freak out my camera guy, and it went on about its business. But if my camera guy would have said, hey, we have something that's walking around, and it felt comfortable enough to have interrupted the interview, then we could maybe have caught something on camera walking around the base camp. Yeah. So that actually does happen. So if you want to go out to experience things, being at base camp, being in camp is a fantastic place to be.
I would agree. And you don't have to, and I know a lot of people go out and they, knock on trees or make calls or something, to each their own, but really you don't have to. Yeah,
you don't have to do all that. They know you're there. I promise you. They know you're there.
And they know if you're making a whoop, they know damn well that you're not Bigfoot.
Yeah, and there's no telling what you're saying either. I mean, you might be
they're very curious. They're very curious creatures. They're going to come find out what you're doing. Yeah, and they're like, "You got any goodies? You got any goodies in your camp there? I want to see if you got some food. You got something good."
if you're just sitting around laughing and cutting up and having a good time, then that's usually when things kind of come in and start checking you out, because they're like, hey, what are they doing? Then you become their discovery channel.
Yeah, right.
That's right. They're like, well, you're in my living room. We might as well watch.
Right. Hey, yeah, let's be a little warrior for a little while.
Right.
And the camp where I was at, they said typically they have things thrown at them a lot, or not at them, but at least in their general direction. So they said that happens more frequently than not. So they said this weekend we didn't have anything thrown at us, but they said typically that they actually do. So I was really blessed to be able to go where I went in North Georgia.
Right. I mean, it is always, we're always grateful when somebody opens up something for us to come see. We're always grateful.
Yes.
On a changing subjects here, I'm at the museum, and today I got here. Kathy had went to pick Greg up from the airport, and I got here before they got back here. She left me a key, whatever. And I came in and I was unloading my stuff out of my car, and I heard Kathy back in the apartment, Brandy.
Did you really? Did you hear what she was saying?
It was not audible. It was her voice. So it was a voice.
But she was with me. Kathy was actually.
Kathy was actually with. Yeah. Me. They were not here. I was here by myself.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And that's weird because in the apartment, Kathy does not allow any spirits to be in there. She does put down boundaries. Yeah, she puts down boundaries and she says, nope, not in here. You've got the whole rest of the place to go. You don't have to be in here. So it's very unusual,
right,
for something to happen.
Yeah, that was weird because, like I said, I was totally here by myself, and it was her voice. I was bringing my stuff in, and it was not audible as to what it was exactly what I heard.
It wasn't clear, right?
Clear, but it was Kathy's voice.
Well, maybe that spirit took advantage of her being being away.
A mimic, yeah.
Mimic.
Yeah.
Well, she did say that, and like Brandon said, she doesn't allow, and she does cleansings over there in that apartment and stuff, and she keeps it pretty clean, but she did say that one of the curators here at the museum, the one before Kathy, she passed away in one of the bathrooms here, actually the bathroom back in the apartment. And she did tell me, and her name was Linda. We knew Linda, and we actually started ghost hunting with Linda. And she said actually Linda had made a visit in that bathroom last week, which is just weird because there's no if you're not in living form, you're not allowed in there. So just odd.
Wow.
Right. Free Your Mind to see had a very interesting thing. They said remnant echo, perhaps, Krista?
Maybe.
And that maybe.
Yeah.
Because that place is full of energy. So it's possible, very possible for that to happen. But I mean, the museum
that be like an echo or a voice from the past?
A loop. Yeah. Kind of like a loop, something that keeps replaying. There's not just one intelligent being in that building. There's many.
There's a lot here.
Right. And it's hard sometimes because I know that there is the intellectual haunting that happens in that place because we get answers, we get audible EVPs answering questions, so we know that but could it be a remnant or just a loop of energy that just keeps replaying?
Right.
Yeah, that's very possible too, because there's all kinds of energy in there.
Yeah, we took Greg upstairs, Kathy and I did, and kind of showed him some of the hot spot areas upstairs. We haven't taken him down to the basement yet, though, Brandy. We'll do that tomorrow.
Okay, that's
the dreaded basement.
The basement is one of my favorite places.
Yeah,
we have a lot of stuff. even when we broadcasted from there the last time that we were there, we had some activity happening.
You and Aaron went down there, and you guys had, I don't know, REM pod or something going on down there, and
right, lots of different things. So I mean, it's going to be interesting tomorrow night. Like we said, sometimes you'll go into a place and it will be absolutely quiet all night long. Absolutely quiet. Usually at the museum, you do get some activity every time.
Yeah. And Paranormal Paul, I did take him to the Civil War room. I did show him where you got scratched.
Hey, correct me if I'm wrong too, you guys. It might have been several months ago. I forgot where you guys were. I think we were doing a live show. It might have been my channel again. I don't remember. You guys were out, and there was like no activity. And we did a later show, and you guys were like, "Man, we normally get, there's nothing going on."
Probably Malvern. Might have been Malvern.
Yeah, nothing was going on. You guys had a lot of your different boxes. And I remember Brandy was getting frustrated. Yeah, nothing, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Then I remember, so the show ended maybe, I don't know, when it ends 2 a.m. or something for me anyway. And then like 3:30 in the morning, I get a text, I think it was from Krista. You won't believe the activity we're having now ever since we got off the damn show. Maybe, they knew. Maybe they knew they were having an audience. They didn't want to show themselves, but just you guys. I don't know, right?
Could be.
Could be.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. They amp up in their own time. It's not like a residual will kind of do the same thing in the loop over and over again, usually around the same time, all the time. It does the same thing all the time. But these intellectual hauntings, boy, I'll tell you what, when they decide to act up, they go all out.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and it's whenever, they could be very quiet at what we call the witching hour at 3 a.m. They could be super quiet. But then there's other times where it sounds like they're having a party.
Yeah. That's a true story. So, you never know. That's the thing with the paranormal. It's you never know when it's going to happen. And, one of the things we don't fake evidence. So if there's nothing happening, there's nothing happening. We'll tell you there's nothing happening. So,
because Rob can tell you, we did a show with him and then we're like, gosh, oh my gosh, there's nothing happening. It's super quiet. I don't know what's going on.
But
it's kind of like,
I still love those shows. Right. I was still into it though. Just watching you guys do your thing. It was still very fascinating to me anyways.
Right. Yeah. Well, I went to the Hill House and, we were doing a special show, just for the Hill House. And the funniest part is that I was supposed to be done with the tour and all of that stuff. And then I was supposed to come on the show and we were late. We couldn't get on the show. And Krista and them were like, hey, we're live. What's happening? That we had so much activity during the tour that we had to keep stopping. That it was just so much. And that whole night was just crazy from the start to finish,
Remember that night.
Right. It just depends. It just depends on if, for number one, if you're open to it, it's going to happen more frequently. Like we were talking with Greg, it's just kind of like you have that vibration. You're just, you're good with it. So all kinds of things will happen. And then there are other times they're just like, nah, I don't like your attitude.
Right.
I just don't like your attitude.
Right.
That's why we talk about people who go into haunted locations, that you kind of have to not cleanse yourself, but kind of get rid of all the negativity, get rid of all that stuff that's dragging you down in your everyday life. Get rid of it. Prepare yourself for, a good evening, and get into those good vibes, because I find that you have more activity if your mindset is better, if you're having a positive mindset versus, you're worried about everything else outside of what you're doing. that you just got to open up and be in the moment and be positive. I find I get a lot of stuff then.
Makes sense.
I.e., meditate.
Right.
Mhm.
That's
Exactly.
it. That's it.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, and a lot of people, and sometimes I've done this, is I'll cleanse myself before even going into a location because I want to get rid of all the stuff that I had before I go.
Right.
I don't
Right.
want to drag that in there with me.
absolutely.
So, you've got to keep that into consideration too.
Kimber says, I would rather be scratched than choked. I've been both, and I have to agree with you. I've been through both. Actually, right here in this room is where I got choked the last time.
I have had neither, and I don't want it.
That would
I
be
don't want
scary, getting choked.
But I've had my hair pulled
Oh, yeah.
quite a lot, and sometimes, I think it was one time that it got pulled super hard, to where you could feel the hairs. Like when somebody pulls on your hair and you could feel it like break off. I've had that, just one time though. Other times it's just a little tug, just to let you know, hey, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. And tugging on your clothing, touching of the arms, the face, a lot of that stuff, but nothing I would say that is super negative. It's just kind of like when somebody grabs a hold of your hair a little bit too hard, that's what it felt like.
Right.
And that's it,
Yeah.
That's all I can suggest is cleanse before you go in if you have a lot going on in your normal everyday life. Prepare yourself, basically. Meditate, like Greg said. Do those things, and you should have a pretty good outcome I'm going to say in a proven location.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Some of the locations are, that haven't been proven, it's pretty much up for grabs what you're going to find there.
Yeah. So tomorrow night, we're hoping to have a pretty active night, and we'll see.
Yeah, we'll take it from there.
Mm-hmm.
So I should be standing outside barefoot about 6:30.
Yeah. So it'd be a good time. Anyway, we're at the hour and a half mark.
Yes, we are. We are.
Very good.
And I want to apologize to everybody. I am sorry for the beginning, for the laughing. I couldn't shut it off.
Oh, it's just a lighthearted show. I mean,
yeah. And real quick, I want to thank Scott's Life and Two Shadows. We appreciate you both.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
absolutely. That all that stuff helps, because we were just talking about that whole StreamYard fiasco, and they're charging double of what they wanted. And, we're trying to get all of that fixed and situated now because we have most of it resolved. So we're still going to continue. There's no problem there. We're still going to continue.
Yeah.
But every little bit helps, just to say.
Right.
Right on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we do. We appreciate everybody being here. Tune in tomorrow night to Paranormal Paul at 7 p.m. You'll see the same faces again. And then again tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Central BMR. Same faces. You'll see us all. And we're going to be doing some ghost hunting. And you'll see a few other faces if they don't mind going on. I know Mickey is.
Yeah, we're going to see Mickey. She's in chat. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we might just put Mickey on here with us tomorrow night. So
you never know. So
awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you all once again for tuning in, and we appreciate each and every one of you. And
absolutely.
Yeah. So we will see you guys all tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, everybody.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Thanks for putting up with my shenanigans.
Yep.
Yeah. It was fun. A lot of laughter.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.